The lawyer's voice trembled, slightly as he read the words from my grandfather's will. The room smelled of leather chairs, polished wood, and old money, the kind of wealth that seemed untouchable, timeless. Everyone leaned forward, hungry for their slice of fortune, waiting for the words that could change their lives forever. And then it came. My grandson inherits the entirety of my estate, valued at $10 billion. The air cracked open with gasps. Heads turned toward me, some with envy, some with disbelief. My own chest tightened. It didn't feel real. 10 billion. The kind of number you only ever read in headlines. The kind of number that could change not only a life, but entire generations. And then I saw her. Emma, my ex-wife. She wasn't supposed to be here, but there she was, walking in with her new husband. His hand wrapped possessively around her waist. She was grinning. The same smile I once woke up to every morning for 8 years. Only now it wasn't mine. Of course, she said, her voice slicing through the room. Of course he'd get it all. Her husband chuckled under his breath. Their smugness was a performance, one I was forced to watch, though my heart still carried the scars she left behind. 8 years. 8 years of building a life together, of whispered promises in the dark, of sacrifices and dreams we thought we shared, until the day she walked out, telling me she'd fallen out of love. I found out. Later it wasn't love she had fallen. Out of, it was patience. She had found someone else, someone richer at the time. Someone who could give her the life she thought I couldn't. And now she was back, uninvited. Her new husband's fingers, glittering with rings, paid for by someone else's fortune. My jaw clenched as the lawyer continued reading, but I barely heard the words. All I could think of were the nights I had lain awake in an empty bed, replaying the moment she left. I remembered begging her not to go, telling her I'd work harder, that we could rebuild. She had looked at me with pity then, as if I was a child who didn't understand the rules of the world. But now the rules had changed. She leaned back in her chair, crossing her legs, her eyes scanning me. There was something in her expression I couldn't quite place. Regret? Curiosity? Or maybe it was just calculation. The same instinct that had led her to leave when I had nothing, and appear now when I had everything. Her husband, oblivious, smiled and whispered something in her ear that made her laugh. The sound twisted in my chest. Once upon a time, that laugh had been mine to protect, mine to cherish. Now it felt like a dagger. The lawyer closed the folder with a soft thud, sealing my fate. The estate was mine. $10 billion. Generational wealth. Power, security, freedom. The room buzzed with chatter. Relatives suddenly eager to shake my hand. Voices dripping with false congratulations. But my eyes stayed on Emma. She rose slowly, her heels clicking against the floor. "Congratulations," she said, her tone smooth but her eyes restless. "It seems you've finally become the man I always knew you could be." I almost laughed. The irony was suffocating. I had always been that man even when I had nothing. What she couldn't see was that love wasn't measured in bank accounts. I had loved her with everything I had, in ways money could never buy. She hadn't wanted love, she had wanted guarantees. And now, standing in front of me, I realized something. She wasn't grinning out of pride or joy. She was grinning because she believed wealth was a door, and maybe, just maybe, I would open it for her again. I let the silence stretch between us until her smile faltered. Then I leaned closer and whispered, just loud enough for her to hear, "You left me when I had nothing. Remember that when you watched me build everything." Her face stiffened, the mask cracking for just a second. Her husband touched her arm. Confused, but she pulled away, her eyes fixed on mine. And in that moment, I saw it. The regret she thought she had hidden. But it didn't matter anymore. $10 billion couldn't buy back the years she stole, the nights of loneliness, the hollow echo of her absence. Money could rebuild my life, but it could never rewrite the betrayal. She had chosen her path. She had left. And the door to my heart had closed the day she did. The lawyer cleared his throat, calling my attention back to signatures and formalities. But as I put pen to paper, I felt something lift off my shoulders. It wasn't about the money, not really. It was about the power to finally walk forward without looking back. Emma and her husband left soon after, their laughter echoing down the hallway like ghosts of a past. I no longer wanted to haunt me. For the first time in years, I felt free. Not because of the fortune, not because of revenge, but because I realized I didn't need her approval. her love or her presence to be whole. I had been broken, betrayed, abandoned, but now, with or without the billions, I was stronger. And as I walked out of that office, the world felt new again. Because sometimes, the sweetest victory isn't proving them wrong, it's proving to yourself that you survived.